Hi everybody, welcome back to Vlogmas. Today's Vlogmas day 19 and I'm really excited about this video today because this is something I wanted to do for weeks and it's a project I wanted to make. I've kind of hinted at it before in some of my other videos and I finally got around to making it. It's a crazy time of year and right now I have a cold, my left ear is clogged and I honestly was feeling a little overwhelmed recently. And Josh had texted me and asked if I got around to this particular project. And I was like, no, I just feel depleted. And anyway, I was like, and right after he texted me, I'm like, I just started working on it. Like, I didn't really have the energy or the drive, but something in me made me just kind of want to get started. So anyway, as you probably can see by the title, I made a couple pillows today. And I actually got the idea from I think it's the Flea Market magazine. I'll show you a couple pictures. I'll show you the picture of the front cover of the magazine, and then the pillow that inspired me to make my own was this one. So as you can see, it's a I think it's a really cute pillow of an elf, or yeah, like an elf. So anyway, I have been kind of engineering in my mind, or not designing or engineering, I guess engineering, how to make this pillow because I wasn't sure how to do it. I've made pillows before, but you're just your basic square or rectangular pillows. And this was something that was definitely out of my skill set, I guess you would say. No, I don't sew, and again, it probably will be in the title. It's a no-sew pillow. I don't own a sewing machine. I can hand sew, but this is something that I wanted to do without sewing because sometimes it's faster, and also hand sewing is just, it's tedious. It can be relaxing, but I have way too much going on, and if I hand sew it, it could take days or weeks, and I really want to get this out for Vlogmas. So, also, I thought it also might be a good idea to do a no-sew pillow, because if there are a lot of people out there like me who are willing to make their own craft or do their own thing, but if you don't have a sewing machine, it does make it challenging sometimes. So I just thought it would be fun to do all around. So anyway, this is not necessarily a tutorial just because I've never done it before. I'm not a professional, but I did want to kind of show the process of making it just so you can kind of see how I did it. So if it's something you want to do, you can learn from my mistakes, you can learn from my successes or whatever I did if you end up liking what I did. It was interesting. It was fun and I learned a lot from it. I would definitely do some things differently, but I will go get more into that during the outro and everything. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get into me making these pillows. Okay, starting out making the pillows, I taped 4 pieces of paper together to make a template. And then I made the bottom part of the pillow first. I wanted to do it in 2 sections. So I made the lower section and I measured the top line of the bottom piece and the bottom line of the top piece so that they would match, so they were each 12 inches, and then cut them out. And that way, so when I put them together, they would be roughly the same length. I put them together, and then I was kind of comparing to the picture of the magazine and realized the bottom was too big, so I retraced it and recut it, and I like that a lot better. And then I kind of put my felt together and started to cut it. I realized having all the felt together was not working with the needles and paper. It was puckering the paper, and I was afraid the shape wouldn't come out right. So then I separated the red and the green, and that did work a lot better. And the green felt was a lot thicker. The red felt was a little bit more velvety. I don't know if it was 100% felt. So I still puckered a little bit when I was trying to pin down the paper. And then I'm just showing here that I've already cut out the base pieces as well. I didn't want to show like every single step because you kind of get the idea. And I got the top pieces. And again, I'm just lining these up just to make sure. Yeah, my cookies have been cooking like crazy. But just putting these together, just making sure that I did indeed measure and cut correctly before I start attaching pieces. So looking pretty good. And then I'm also going to cut a hole in one piece so that I can glue on a piece of felt behind it for the face of the elf. And here I have it traced out. Again, I'm just showing that I made another template just to get an idea. I want them both to be as similar as possible. And here they're cut out, and I just want to show you some of the felt pieces that I have. These are the different ones that I bought for this project. Excuse me. Apologies, I'm losing my voice. I'm just kind of showing the different ones that I have. Excuse me. Now in the picture, if you'll see, his face is more of like a light pink, and his cheeks are a bright pink. I could not find that correct color for his skin tone, if that makes sense. So I opted to go with the tan. That was just the closest I could find. And just trying to show you kind of roughly what it's going to look like before I glue it in. Again, just lining it up, just trying to get an overall view of how it would look. And then I'm just showing you the fabric glue on there. Let's say it's upside down, it's the inside part. So I used the fabric fusion glue. And then I cut out my tan pieces, obviously to be a little bit bigger than the holes I cut out.
Oh my gosh.
Which later on I end up kind of, like, I don't regret the fabric glue, but it does kind of, which I'll show later here, it shows, I think it's showing now, yeah. It does come through. It does lighten up a little bit as it dries, as I will show you later. But that is unfortunate. This material is like a really thick, almost like an upholstery material. And I think had I used a white felt instead, that would have worked better. This is the next day. I glued these and let them set overnight. I just glued the two pieces together. So I'm just showing you that the hats are glued. They're still inside out. I have not put them right side out yet. But just kind of showing you that they are ready to go. And just showing the next day that the glue didn't actually, there it doesn't look real light. Later on it looks lighter. And I'm showing that you don't see the glue through the felt. So the felt actually is really forgiving with the fabric glue. This other material, not so much. And also showing that some parts of this did not stay glued. So this is where I decided to bring out the hot glue gun because I didn't want to wait for the fabric glue to dry again. The rest of it was fine. I just don't think I put enough there. Now here's everything flipped right side out. This is, I mean, it's gonna look a little different with stuff, but yeah, and the little corner pieces I ended up cutting off because when I flipped it right side out, those little points came out. So I did trim those off. And of course, like anything, when you cut out a piece and then you either hem it or glue it and put it right side out again, it does change the shape a little bit, it makes it a little bit smaller, which I did know and I did keep in mind. But this fabric being so thick, it did pucker and I did have a hard time pushing out the little point at the bottom. So again, it's a good fabric, but not the best for this project. I just kind of want to show both sides, just how it looks before I have it stuffed up and ready to go. And here I'm just showing the process of hot gluing the hat piece to the bottom, like beard, I guess, piece you would call that, or the face piece. Slow and steady wins the race, even though I did speed up this video. But again, I want to show the process, just roughly how I did it. It actually was really easy to do. Like, once I figured out how to do it, it was just being patient with the process. Like, I always want things finished so fast. So it's very hard for me to go through each step and take my time. So I'm just drinking some water if you can hear that. Just trying to keep my throat working for you guys. And then just showing that how it's attached and how it looks. overall, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Like, the hot glue actually worked really well for this project. I almost kind of wish I used it for the rest, but I'm not sure how secure it would be. So I kind of did a little bit of both. So over time, I will definitely be able to see which glue fared the best. Ugh, you can see that glue. That's so frustrating. Oh well, live and learn. But coming together, happy with that. And here I'm just showing that I wasn't sure how big to make the cheeks. So I used a mug and I used like a little shot glass just to trace out. Because I'm trying to see how big they have them in the picture. And because I really want to get as close as I can to the picture because I like how that one is. So kind of trying to decide here. Now, which one do you think looks better? That one? A little bit smaller? Or is this one better? Go back to the picture. The bigger one definitely looks like it would match the picture better. So we'll go with the bigger one. I think that'll look better. This is the mug I used. Little vintage Japan, made in Japan Christmas mug. But the size worked perfectly for cutting out the, or tracing out the cheeks. There they are. Oh, so fun. I was happy with that. I was really happy with the size, especially once they were cut out, laid out, and then just showing how I did the nose. I cut 4 for the nose because I wanted to double them up to make it a little bit thicker than the rest, because in the picture the nose looks like it's raised up a little bit. And then I traced out the eyes, eyebrows, and the mouth. That was a process. That was a pain in the butt. I had to trace out those, and because I didn't have yarn. In the picture it looks like yarn for the mouth, and I didn't have any, so I had to use a black felt. So it's a little rough, but the eyebrows are a bit thick and a bit much, but I didn't mind them at all. And then here I'm just showing the 4 different types of rickrack that I have. I found at the flea market over the summer and just trying to decide which colors are best and match the aesthetic. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm actually really happy with it. Let me show you the finished product. See if I can get these here. Ah, hold on. Ta-da! What do we think? Now I'm gonna let me show you one at a time here. They're far from perfect. Obviously, when I cut out the pattern for them, I was going by a flat picture, and obviously a pillow, once you stuff it, will change. And also once you cut out the material, and I glued them obviously inside out so that I could flip them around and fill them. So everything does change. So unfortunately the bottom tip didn't turn out quite the way I wanted to, and it's bunched, and I probably could have stuffed this a little bit more. But I honestly wanted it more on the flat side. I did not want to overstuff it because it would look like too warped. But anyway, I'm really happy with how it turned out. The eyebrows were a little much, but I think the green one, I could show you this one. This one was, I did this before the red one. I kind of did them side by side, but I'm going to show you some of the things that I like about it and some of the things that I don't like. Overall, I like how it looks. The rickrack looks really cute on it. The face turned out really well. I had to use felt for the mouth because I didn't have any yarn. They used yarn on their pillow. I didn't have any, so it's rough, but it's supposed to be I don't think it's supposed to be exactly perfect. Plus, this was just like my interpretation of the pillow. Bob Ross always said, you don't have to copy my picture. Whatever you create and make is yours, kind of thing. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, like I wouldn't use this material again. I got this material in the clearance section at Joann Fabrics. This material, I'm pretty sure, is an upholstery fabric because I couldn't even get a needle through it. Like I was trying to, I forget why, I think to cut out pieces. And even to cut out the hole for the face, I had to use my scissors and jam it through. This is a very tough material. So I got it because it was cheap. It's nice, it's really soft and velvety, but it's a really tough material. Like it feels like it should be upholstery fabric in a car. So in the future, if I make these again, I would definitely use felt or some kind of, I think there's this material called duck material. I think I'm saying that right. And I actually did see some there that I really liked. It was like a beige color, and it actually had a little bit of brown threads through it. So up close, it did have a vintage look. but it was like $8 or $9 a yard, and I think I got this for $4 a yard. And I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, so I wanted to go with a little bit cheaper material, but I would definitely use a different material next time. But worked out really well. And this is something I have to explain too. To do the no-sew, I obviously put the top and bottom together separately, and then attached them in the front. But the back was tricky because I didn't want to sew it. So what I did was, this is very amateurish of me, and I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but I'm just showing you what I did. I just took a piece of felt and I just glued it onto both pieces. Slowly, little bit by little bit, I glued it together. It's not perfect. And it's the back of it, so I'm not too worried about it. But that's how that looks. It works, but again, far from perfect. And you can see I used hot glue for gluing on the face pieces and for the rickrack. I could have used fabric glue. That probably would have been a little bit better. You won't see as much of the glue. Like in some sections, you can see the glue. So I would definitely do that again differently. But again, I wanted to get these done and out. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to add. And their picture, they have something on the top of the hat. I'm not too worried about that. I could definitely add it later. I will also say that in the back, what I might do in the future if I make these, I would probably still glue the back because it is a no-sew and it didn't take too long. I did use hot glue and I burned my fingers so many times. But I would actually use maybe a Christmas ribbon instead of this. It might look a little bit better. But then again, this blends a little bit more. So if there's a little bit of a flaw and a puckering, it just looks like a hat rim. Especially from a distance. And again, it's going to be against a sofa. You're not going to see that. I'm also going to point out, like in the video, you can still see the glue. That's really unfortunate. That's another reason why I would do felt for this, because the red felt that I use, you can see the glue through it as well, but that material is very, very thin. It was almost like velvety, not really a felt. This green felt, you really cannot see the glue through it. Now, you'll see puckering. You cannot see the hot glue through it. And you cannot see the fabric glue through it. So if I make these again, now granted, if you use white felt, it might show, but felt is so thick, I think you'd get away with it. So if I make these again, I would, or if you decide to make them, I highly recommend using felt, like a thick felt, if you're just gonna glue them, because I don't think you'll see the glue through it. I don't hate it, I'm not happy about it, but it's such a busy pillow anyway with the face and everything, and once it dried, it did get a little bit lighter, but you can still see it, which is unfortunate. But what I'm happy about is cutting out, like the face turned out so well. I just made my own shapes, and like I cut up pieces of paper that looked right, and then I made the eyes, the nose, eyebrows, and mouth, cheeks. Really, really simple. That part was actually really easy. They're not perfect. You look up close, you know, they're not perfect, but it still has a cute face, and it kind of, I think when something isn't 100% perfect, it kind of, especially like this, I just say it gives a vintage feel, but it definitely looks homemade. And as long as the eyeballs aren't like two totally different ovals, like too different, it doesn't bother me too much, honestly. But oh, and that was the other thing too. I forgot to bring up. The one thing I was not thinking of when I was hot gluing over the face, and I put hot glue on the nose of this one, and it fell out of my hand, and the hot glue part fell in the face. So if you look real close, right here, you can see the dried hot glue. So it looks like he's got a snotty nose. And I also, real quick while I'm close, I doubled up the red felt because in the picture, it looked like his nose stuck out a little bit more than his cheeks and his eyes. Now this one, when I put the two pieces together, I didn't think to trim it, so you can see the second one behind it. With the red one, I'm losing my voice. With the red one, I did a little bit better. I trimmed that one up before I glued it down. I glued the two pieces together, and then I trimmed the little excess pieces. So this one turned out a lot better. So lesson learned, for sure. And also with the cheeks, I think this one, the pink cheeks are pretty much level with the face. I learned to glue just half the circle, and then I could hold on to the other side safely and placed it on. And then I did the same with the other one. I just glued half the circle down, or half the circle, placed it down where I wanted, and then I could go back and put the glue underneath. With the green one, I put all the glue on, and then later on I did it with the other one, and this one is a tiny bit higher than the other one. Can you tell? So it's slightly off. So it doesn't look, from a distance, it's not that big of a deal. But again, it taught me to slow down because I was kind of, I felt rushed. I think because when hot glue dries, or it dries fast, I should say. So I wasn't sure how, like, how much time I had to work with. So I was a little rushed. I should not have done that. So I learned by the time I got to the red hat one, I would just put a dab of glue on something and just lightly place it where I wanted it. And then I would glue the rest. Or I do the second one and then finish gluing. So anyway, and same with the red one. I'll show you the back of the red one. Again, I didn't really pay attention to when I cut that. You can see the cut marks. So this one I might finish up later on with a little bit of ribbon down here, or some more of the the rickrack, just to kind of finish it off, because I was kind of rushing by the end, so my work was obviously getting lazy. You can see that, and you can see the hot glue through it just a little bit. Not as badly, but this process worked. It's just I had to be careful and take my time. With the green one, I would glue one side and then the other, and glue one side and then the other. With the red one, I took this red strip, I glued the whole thing on the bottom piece first, and then slowly attached it to the hat. So both techniques worked, but I kind of like gluing the one whole piece on first, and then attaching instead of going back and forth, if that makes sense. But anyway. All right, well, that's everything today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. This was a labor of love because I really, really wanted to make this, and I'm so glad I made two because now they've got friends. But I really like how they turned out. They're really, really cute. So yeah, just wanted to share with you guys. Anyway, I'm gonna end it here. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. I'm gonna head out. I have some errands to run. I have more Christmas shopping to do. So thank you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.